Why are Latin American countries geopolitically insignificant? It's because they have no hard power whatsoever. The Americans, in case you're not aware, they had something called the Monroe Doctrine. Okay, that goes back more than a century. So, the Monroe Doctrine said that European powers will not be allowed to interfere in the internal affairs of any nation in the Americas, North America or South America. And this was initially enforced by the British, who were America's allies at the time. And then the Americans became strong and powerful enough, and then they started enforcing it themselves. So the fact of the matter is that every single Latin American country, let's go to the map. Where's the map? Every single nation in the Americas, from the southern tip all the way to the northern tip, every single nation is a US vassal. It's a US client state. It's a US puppet. And the Americans have used all kinds of means of establishing and maintaining their hold on these nations. In Colombia, unfortunately, regrettably, was known for the drug cartels, the Medellin cartel, the Cali cartel, and so on. And a lot of the drug trade came into the US. Mexico has its own drug problem. Apparently, all these problems are created by certain agencies, three-letter agencies, and so on. So none of the nations in Latin America are genuinely sovereign. They are all kind of under US control in various ways. In today's world, you don't need to militarily occupy a nation or physically colonize it. You can colonize it by remote control, just the way the entirety of the African continent is still colonized without anyone realizing it. So all these nations, first of all, they have small economies. Okay, so the economic power of these nations is quite small, nothing significant. I can't think of any nation apart from Brazil that could be in the top 10 economies in the world. And Brazil's economy has its own specific and special problems. The ease of doing business is terrible in South America. And secondly, none of these nations is a military power of any note. Take the example of Argentina. The Argentine government claims sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. Now, as you can see, geographically, the Falkland Islands are kind of in Argentina's neighborhood. But who occupies and controls the Falkland Islands? The United Kingdom, sitting thousands of kilometers away. So Argentina isn't militarily powerful enough to dislodge the UK from here. So as you can see, and the Brazilian police is reasonably strong, but the military, I don't know how strong it is. I don't think it is strong at all. You can take a guesstimate of a nation's military strength by looking at its military budget. So when you have, in your hard power is essentially, you can calculate it by factoring in the economic strength and military strength. And when you have none of that, you're not significant at all, especially when you are controlled by another nation. So that's why these nations are geopolitically insignificant.